During the Cold War, the CIA and the FBI engaged in a broad range of illegal activities. In the late 1970s, members of Congress from both major parties cared about the rule of law, about our Constitution, about discovering and disclosing wrongdoing as befits a democratic society, and then went about taking steps to protect the constitutional values at the core of our republic. The Church Committee, named after Senator Frank Church, was created in the Senate, and the Pike Committee was appointed in the House of Representatives to investigate abuses of power and bring those abuses to the attention of the American people. For instance, the Church Committee found out and disclosed that the CIA and FBI were illegally opening the mail of American citizens without warrants. The FBI illegally wiretapped Martin Luther King Jr., then used personal information illegally obtained in an attempt to persuade him to commit suicide. The CIA had hired the mafia to assassinate Fidel Castro, and much more, all investigated and disclosed in the spirit of Justice Brandeis's observation that sunlight is the best disinfectant. Then, to make sure similar abuses did not happen in the future, Congress passed the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which made it a federal felony punishable by imprisonment to spy on communications of U.S. citizens without a warrant issued by a court. Here was President Bush in 2004 assuring the American people that in every instance of surveillance, the government obtains a warrant because that's what's required by the Constitution.
A wiretap requires a court order. Nothing has changed, by the way. When we're talking about chasing down terrorists, we're talking about getting a court order before we do so. It's important for our fellow citizens to understand, when you think Patriot Act, constitutional guarantees are in place when it comes to doing what is necessary to protect our homeland because we value the Constitution.
As the New York Times finally disclosed, President Bush had lied to the American people. For several years before he made his false representation about obtaining warrants as the Constitution requires, President Bush had ordered the National Security Agency, the NSA, to disregard the law and to engage in surveillance of residents of the United States without obtaining a warrant. His reasoning? He was above the law. Congress couldn't tell him what to do because he was the president. It was all bad enough that President Bush and his enabling lawyers took that dictatorial tack, but when President Obama became president, he said members of the Bush administration would not be prosecuted for violating federal criminal statutes prohibiting torture and warrantless surveillance because, as President Obama put it, he wanted to look forward and not back. That is the very definition of tyranny. One person asserting the power to determine when, against whom, and under what circumstances the law will be applied or not applied. The Wall Street Journal recently disclosed that the NSA obtained the contents of all the text messages and emails from and to the people of Salt Lake City, where I was mayor at the time, for several months before and during the 2002 Salt Lake Winter Olympic Games. As far as has ever been disclosed, this was the most massive, indiscriminate, illegal surveillance of the contents of citizens' communications in our nation's history, yet in complete disregard of the rule of law. Nothing is being done to hold anyone accountable for the numerous federal felonies and violations of our Constitution. The mindless equanimity on the part of so many to these abuses is terrifying. One must wonder what is left of our constitutional republic upon hearing the glib and different comments of those who treat as inconsequential the fact that U.S. citizens were illegally spied on by our federal government. Every instance of that surveillance was, without any question, a federal felony under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Should those responsible for the spying be held accountable for their criminal violations? Or was Bush, and before him Nixon, right that the president and others acting at his behest are above the law? Do we live in a nation that operates under the rule of law, or a nation where one person decides day to day when our laws will apply and when they won't? Since the founding of our nation, millions have died worldwide for the preservation of fundamental freedoms. It is now our responsibility to tenaciously fight to preserve our freedoms, to restore the rule of law, to reinstate the constitutional system of checks and balances, and to rein in dictatorial presidential powers. A new church committee should be formed immediately to investigate and disclose illegal conduct and other abuses by the executive branch as required in a government where the people are truly sovereign, and where instead of a dictator calling the shots, the rule of law controls. Commitment to the rule of law, checks and balances, due process, and a separation of power among the branches of government were conscientiously included in our Constitution to protect our nation and its people from a lawless tyranny of the sort that is now rotting our constitutional republic at its very core.